refreshing furiously as we speak.
Oh, there we go.
And we're live, everybody! Hello there, and welcome to the Storytime Network's very own Paradox Hour, in which we're gonna talk about the Porn Star book and the T-Rex book and the Dresden Files.
I will get into it when we start talking about it, but I have a strong fondness for the T-Rex book. But to give them their proper names, Blood Rites and Deadbeat of the Dresden Files book series.
Which, you know, not as memorable as the Porn Star book and the T-Rex book.
I mean, no, but like, what is more like head-turning than the book about the ritualist porn stars?
So, should we just hop right into it, or do we
Oh
have
yeah,
to make
no,
introductions?
go ahead. I mean, if you want to like give
We've
some...
done a couple of these streams already, so we can just get right into it, honestly.
I think so, yes.
I mean, for the
Alrighty
most
then.
part, we have the same like profile pictures popping up with our Discord icons, so we should be fine. You're the only one
the most
whose
part.
name is different, and you know that fact means that you should be able to be identified pretty easily.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let us get
Anyways.
started with Blood Rites. Am I being told to do a summary again?
I mean...
Up to you.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but since you offered.
I've got one prepared, so I might as fucking well, because I don't want to be... I'd rather be, like, prepared and not be asked to than not prepared and you all go, hey, Mill, you should do a summary.
Look, at this
So
point,
they have to fucking improvise
that's the entire point at this point. What do you get for calling him Marcone instead of Marconi?
I'm calling him
Does he
Marcone because
really?
that is literally how it's supposed to be said.
Isn't that how it's in the audiobooks?
Yes.
Well, just because that's how it's supposed to be pronounced doesn't mean I respect Marconi enough to pronounce it that way.
So just because it's supposed to be Zorro instead of Zolo, that means I'm not allowed to call him Zolo?
Correct.
Well, yes, because... I mean, it depends. Do you respect Zorro as a character?
Yes, but if you aren't going to respect Marcone, I'm going to not respect Zorro's name.
Man, that hurts me as much as it hurts you.
Then tell Fuzzy to stop.
Fuzzy, please stop.
No, I'm not. I will not compromise on this. I may have had some respect for Johnny Marconi until the most recent book, but after the most recent book, I have.
Can you
no
not at
more
least
respect.
call him John or Johnny then?
Okay, I can compromise to a certain extent. I'll just call him Marconi.
No.
I thought you were
Guys,
specifically
that's
asking
not
me
a
to
compromise.
Talk about the actual book, please.
I'm going to correct
on.
it. I'm going to correct it every single time.
That's fair.
Which will probably start this argument all over again, you realize.
I would hope
Probably.
not. I want to stay on track this time, so we can actually finish
When do we
talking
ever
about
stay
both
on
of these
track?
books.
Okay, but like, porn stars, yay or nay?
I mean, I don't have any real problems with porn stars people. They have to make a living and they do what they're good
No,
at.
I'm specifically
so,
talking about the murderous ritualist ones in this book.
oh, murder is bad, yo.
Mm-hmm. But
Well,
it's probably as good a segue as any. So
situational thing, right? Murder is situational. I wouldn't say it's bad.
It's not qualified as murder if it's okay.
Okay, now you're just being pedantic.
the way you
Yes,
are
I
with
am.
Marcone.
Guys,
Yes.
come on, focus.
That one wasn't even on me.
Anyway, the summary. In Blood Rites, Harry is hired at the behest of Thomas the Vampire by porn director Arturo Genosa to find out who is attacking members of his cast with a curse. It turns out to be part of a deeper plot within the White Court of Vampires, I should say, complicated further by the reveal that Thomas is Harry's half-brother. Meanwhile, Mavra the Black Court vampire and her scourge are in town, and Harry decides to make a preemptive strike with the help of Murphy, Ebenezer, and Kincaid the mercenary, though the latter reveals Ebenezer is the Blackstaff, or the White Council's hitman. Harry and the gang believe they take out Mavra at the cost of Harry's hand being roasted, and he returns his attention to Lord Wraith, who is behind the attacks and behind the death of Harry's mother. Despite some slight interference by He Who Walks Behind, Harry plays Lord Wraith and allows Lara, Thomas's elder sister, to bend Lord Wraith to her will, effectively making her the leader of the White Court. Also, Harry gets a dog and Thomas moves in with him.
I absolutely love Mouse.
Mouse
The dog is the best part of the series.
So we do have to talk about the fact that this book has probably one of the best opening lines in all of fiction.
The house was on fire, and it wasn't my fault.
The building was on fire, but yes.
Yep.
Still one of the best opening lines in any piece of fiction I've ever read.
And it's funny,
Just-
'cause
and
it's
the
like
fact
the
that
first.
And the fact that he had to specify that is just great.
It's great.
Not to mention the things that were responsible for the building being on fire were demon monkeys flinging incendiary poo.
Yep.
Dresden Files is a fucking wild series.
Well,
What I love about the Dresden Files is that is just like an aside in a book about
porn
demonic
stars.
porn star witches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as Harry puts it himself, he puts the ick in magic.
Yeah.
Oh, and let's not forget about the monkeys going full Kongtron.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So anyway,
this-
he rescues
this
these
is-
temple dogs from these monkeys that are flinging flaming shit, and he delivers them to his client, only to find out later that one of the puppies had stowed away in his car. Which, we haven't talked enough about the Blue Beetle. That thing is a fucking tank.
Rip.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P. to the Blue Beetle on multiple occasions, because it regularly
You know what's
dies.
funny?
It gets totaled so regularly.
You know
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
funny about the Blue Beetle? This is something that. So, who here is aware that there was a Dresden Files TV show on Sci-Fi?
I am aware.
I
I
am.
remember.
So, that show is probably like Dragon Ball Evolution tier
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
as
it's
far
pretty
as
bad.
adaptations goes. Is anyone gonna fight me on that?
No,
No.
No.
I haven't watched it, so I can't really say otherwise.
I'll give it
turn-
2 props. One, Paul Blackthorne as Harry was actually pretty good, even if he was
Yeah, I thought that was
well
an
too
excellent
short.
casting decision.
Good cast.
2, Bob was pretty great in that show.
Bob is a different character, but yes.
Different character, yes, but still pretty good.
Yeah, but like they made Ancient Mai a femme fatale.
Oh, that's so fucking
That's wild.
weird.
Uh,
Anyways,
But like,
what were you
no.
getting?
The thing about it is that the show revealed one thing, though, is that there's a kind of a flaw in Jim Butcher's math and/or understanding of automotive engineering.
Which
Oh.
is...
So Paul Blackthorne is very tall, just like Harry.
Is he that tall?
They, huh?
Is he that tall?
He's like 6'5",
I mean,
I
he's
think.
Huh?
Not as tall as Harry. Harry's like 6'8", but
Well, yeah, that's the thing. He's not as tall as Harry, but even he couldn't properly fit into a Volkswagen Bug.
hey, magic, man.
No,
Harry
but,
is a
like,
bit of a
Blue Beetle
clown.
is explicitly like not magic.
Paul Blackthorne is
So-
6'3".
So if he even someone who's 6'3" couldn't fit in a VW Bug for an extended period of time. Harry's 6'8". How does he still have a working spine?
Clown car logic.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
he
what
is
I'm
a
thinking.
clown, so
But yeah, speaking of clowns. Oh wait, no, we're speaking about porn stars in this one.
Mm-hmm.
What's the
wow,
difference?
Jack. Rude.
So this basically is the return of Thomas Wraith, aka Harry's half brother, back into the main story after Grave Peril, and
Yeah,
to
which
an
we find
extent
out
Death
about
Masks.
We find out about that connection in this book too,
Yeah.
through a telepathic link of like a magical telepathic link that their mother set up, I guess, in their brains.
I've seen
if
weirder
we
I have
things.
words about Margaret McCoy. Oh god, that was a spoiler.
Yes, it was.
Oh god, pretend I didn't say that. Pretend I didn't say that. Cut that.
Too late. Too late.
We are literally on live. There is no cutting. I can't even cut it. I can't even cut it from the archive. As it is, I'm having trouble just splitting a stream into two. And you want me to cut out 2 seconds of dialogue?
Okay. Look, I'm sorry. Okay.
Margaret Le Fay.
Yeah. So I have words to say about Harry's mother. Not yet though.
We can save that for another book.
I mean, like, yes,
She did sell her son to a murder fairy.
To be fair, that
In
murder
fairness-
fairy is only
in fairness, that
slightly
murder
less murder
fairy,
fairy than others.
that murder fairy has been pretty good to Harry overall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in her own kind of fucked up way, but
Yeah.
But they don't exactly run on on normal person morality.
Like, yes,
Yeah, but
yes, Leia wanted to turn Harry into a dog, but it was for his own safety.
yeah.
And
so
considering
he
the
wouldn't have to deal with
shit
the
that Harry
problems.
gets into, I'm fairly sure he would be safer as a dog.
He'd probably be happier as a dog.
He
let's be
probably
real.
would. Leia would probably give him all the books he wants.
Yeah.
And he could just sit there being a dog reading. And he'd find that funny.
That sounds fucking awesome, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We have gotten off topic from the book.
Okay, but like Leia would absolutely use him for breeding purposes, wouldn't she?
Oh, 100%.
anyway,
Given
this book
who he
is a
is.
weird one, but it does delve heavily into the
I mean, we
white
did
coordinate
just talk
politics.
about. We did literally just talk about Harry being used as a breeding stud, as a canine breeding stud. So
We're
Yeah,
just
can't
gonna
get much
glaze
weirder than
over
that.
that and move on, please. Let's just glaze over that and move on.
So what I was gonna say is, like, for all that Margaret Le Fay's morals are somewhat suspect, from a human point of view, she does pretty clearly love her sons.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't want them to kill each other.
The latter point
Good.
is definitely true.
I don't
She
know
more
about
just-
love. I think
cares about that.
Well, no, not even that. I think she cares about what she made her sons for. I cannot, in good conscience, say that she actually has any sort of emotional attachment to them.
We just don't know really enough about her at this point
Yeah.
in the story.
And the vast majority of what we do know comes from later books.
That's
So I
true.
will say, I will say this though. This is kind of another. I was actually talking to Mill about this on our Mass Effect stream on Tuesday. Is the more I think about it, the more I realize that the early Dresden Files books are pretty much Harry being the weakest person in any given power dynamic on an absolute level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of having to.
He's a combination of smart and lucky. with varying degrees of each given the situation.
Mostly luck in these early books.
Yeah, a lot of it is luck, dumb luck.
Well, no, in these early books, I feel like you can make an argument that he's kind of, it's not so much luck as he's the higher powers that are using him as a pawn won, and as a result didn't have to sacrifice the pawn.
Tomato, tomato?
More or less.
Potato, potato.
I mean, there's also a chance that the higher power is quite literally capital G God.
That is
There's
true.
implications.
That is possible. Yeah.
So, like, it's entirely possible that he survived the early books due to literal divine intervention. Because that is a thing in these books.
I mean, you say that like he hasn't survived every single book due to divine intervention.
I mean,
There's
sometimes
no.
it was because his opponents were cocky.
Yeah.
And
Well,
or
there was
stupid.
also, I mean, like, yeah, in the first book, it was definitely like his opponent was stupid and he just totally outclassed him because he knew more about magic. And then, and there's a couple books where he does do that to certain villains.
Here's
He
the thing.
completely outclasses
Here's the
them.
thing. From Grave Peril onwards, where God is introduced as an active force in the universe, coincidences become not not real. And anything coincidental and anything lucky
when
suddenly becomes, did somebody else have a hand in this?
And especially when we are explicitly introduced to the fact in the third book that lucky coincidences is literally how the Knights of the Cross work.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that Harry's best friend is a Knight of the Cross is very obviously not a coincidence.
There
Yeah.
are no coincidences in fiction, especially fiction that involves divine beings working in mysterious ways.
God Almighty.
I mean, there is a closer connection than just Harry being the best friend of Michael, but again, that is a later book.
Yeah. We need to focus on the porn stars in this book,
We
unfortunately.
do need to focus on the porn stars. So, first things first, the way the two, like, whatchamacallit, like, the first two victims of the Malocchio, or the, like, bad luck curse, died were fairly ridiculous.
Oh, okay. Oh, no. So, can we talk about the fact that the entropy curse is literally weaponizing Looney Tunes?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So-
I love the bit. We'll talk
I love
about
the
it.
turkey. Turkey is.
We will get to the
one of-
turkey. We will get to the
Well,
turkey.
Yeah. Let's hold off on that for a
the
second.
first person to die was Genos's driver, who was killed by tens of thousands of bees that somehow got into the car trunk and swarmed her when she opened it. Now, that's, that seems strange, but, weirder things might have happened.
It's technically not impossible. Like, if you leave your car trunk open long enough, some bees could make a nest in there.
Maybe
could
whoever
be, like,
made
a
the
hive in
car
there.
was incompetent and left a beehive was created in there. Who knows? The second death. So Genos's personal assistant was run over by a car while she was water skiing. That one is
Yeah,
straight
it's
out of the
pretty-
realms of Looney Tunes.
About that.
Yeah.
I honestly feel bad for all of the victims of the MP curse except for the victim of the turkey, because that was just hilarious.
That one was also a black coat vampire, and, yeah.
At this point, we've already three varietals of vampire, haven't we?
I believe
Yes,
we have,
three
yeah.
main varieties.
Because we
Well-
went into it in Grave Peril's talk through, I think, because that was
We
when
did.
Yeah,
that was when the
'cause that's when
courts
you meet
really
Mabra.
happened. Yeah, because that was
Also, technically, Jiangshi do also exist. So
That's Jade Court, right?
yes.
Yeah. They mentioned them,
like
but
they've
they
not appeared. Like of the 17 books so far,
17. We're at
17 books so far, they haven't appeared once.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So especially since it's like explicitly kind of this series is explicitly focused on
Harry.
what's his face? No, Western mythology
Yes.
mostly, and like that's also because there's even an in-story reason for it that most.
Well, it's like the cycles of the Never Never. It kind of cycles, and there's certain parts of the Never Never that are closer to reality in different eras.
In different areas, too.
Yeah.
There's also a case of belief and
That too.
No, the belief thing makes less sense, because if it's by belief, then, like, I'm pretty sure there's still, like, at least, even if they're not actively practicing, there's, like, a billion people who are still actively believers of Hinduism.
I believe it's like 800 million or something, which is still a lot.
I mean, I'm pretty sure more people believe in the Hindu pantheon than believe in the Celtic pantheon at this point.
Well, yeah, but what it is,
So,
is
you
it's
know.
also the region. It's also the region too, because
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
if they had parts of the book happen in India or in more Eastern Asia, we'd see more of the Jade Court, more of the Hindu
Well,
kind of
absolutely,
pantheon.
yeah. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
the fact that it's well, I would say that probably the only ones who are region locked are, or rather, the Fae
this
seem
is
to be the only ones who aren't region locked.
okay. So this gets into a future book, but I do want to just mention it that these types of gods and deities are mentioned in I believe it was Proven Guilty, and they've basically been. It's basically
Dormant,
said
yes.
they've been dormant for centuries.
Yes, no, that's what I
There
was
is
going to say. But
there is no reason given for why they have been dormant, but they have been dormant.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting back to the entropy curse and all the wacky, wild ways it gets used in this book, my favorite, of course, is the moment where Harry redirects an entropy curse to crush a Blackcourt vampire with a frozen turkey falling from a plane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Turkey from the Sky is just. I mean, if you've got to
And
die, I have to
anvils.
imagine Turkey from the Sky is not the worst way to go.
No, there are plenty of worse ways to go in this book alone, actually.
I mean, no. So here's the thing: a 20-pound frozen turkey falls from the passing plane with drumstick tips wrapped in red tinfoil, and then a timer pops out with a ding.
Yeah, shit straight out of Looney Tunes.
And like
Some Wile E. Coyote shit.
And like at that fight, there is Harry, there is Thomas, there is Lara, and there is a trio of Blackcourt vampires. Lara, it is suggested, has been alive for several centuries. I'm fairly sure.
She's
at least 100 years
the
old.
eldest living daughter, I believe.
Yeah. And
I think there's a few sentences, yeah.
And I'm fairly sure at least some of the Blackcourt vampires have been around probably longer than most. And everyone stops to just stare at that and blink and just go, what the fuck?
And then Harry enters into the silence by saying, and for my next trick, anvils.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the best brick jokes in the series, because...
Don't say anything more, Fuzzy. Don't say anything
But,
more.
so, the thing about the entropy curse is that it is the second time in the series that it's fueled by orgies.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
God.
Jim Butcher is
seeing a
horny.
pattern here. Jim Butcher is thirsty.
Actually,
Yeah.
to be fair, was this powered by an orgy? Because it didn't. It was
No,
more.
I'm
It was
pretty
powered
sure
by
the-
deaths.
I'm pretty sure it was fueled by 3 vengeful ex-wives of a porn producer.
Yeah.
But, like, weren't they using sex magic?
No,
I
I'm
know,
fairly
were.
sure they were just sacrificing people.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because at the very end of the book, to take out Dresden, they were using Thomas as the sacrifice. And they said they used one of the other ex-wives as a sacrifice at one point for For being the one who aimed the laser-guided turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's my question. Why is this not more widespread?
I don't know.
What,
Right? 'Cause, like-
the series as a whole, or laser-guided turkeys?
Yes.
Laser-guided
Fair.
turkeys because outside of certain genres, it's unbelievable. Even in Dresden, it was fairly unbelievable.
No, I mean, like, in universe, why don't more people use entropy curses? Why is this universe not just the Looney Tunes?
I mean, entropy curses are by their very nature unpredictable, and they also apparently require live sacrifice. So they are kind of impractical.
Against
It's
the
not
laws of
like
magic
there's a
and
shortage
whatnot.
of factions in this series that are totally fine with live sacrifice.
So
I mean,
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
On it.
Here's the thing. The implication that I got is that this entropy curse was also being helped along by She Who Walked Behind.
I got the
Yeah.
impression that it was
There's
helped
also
along
no
by both
shortage
him
of
and Lord
factions.
Wraith.
There's also no shortage of factions in this universe that are in bed with the outsiders as well.
Are
Yeah,
they
it's kind of fucked.
like here's the other thing, like anyone who's capable of doing an entropy curse is mostly known to the White Council, who will send out people once, turkeys start flying.
Yeah, the White Council is pretty powerful. They could just I'm pretty sure there's a good. They're the main reason that Lord Wraith kept his knowledge of the entropy curse on the down low.
Yeah.
However,
on
this
one
was
hand-
also
Like-
in the middle of the war, so
Yeah, like
On
fair
the one
fair
hand, yes.
fair enough. No, if
On
the
the
White
oth-
Court didn't exist, sure, JFK probably would have been assassinated via frozen turkey, but seeing as they are, no, he just got shot.
What are you gonna say, Fuzzy?
I will say, the White Council, White Court. Wow, that's ominous.
Yeah, it gets confusing.
So the White Council is like decently powerful, but like they're kind of a mid-tier force at best. Like the entirety of the White Council is not even worth one map.
No,
be
I'm
fair,
fairly
Matt
sure
is
they
one of the
are worth
strongest
one
there.
map.
Well, they're only worth one map if they have her true name, which I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure getting a Fairy Queen's true name is a lot harder than just killing them.
No, I'm fairly sure that they said that if the entire White Council took Mab on, like, it would be a relatively even
would-
fight. They still would probably lose.
No,
and
the
lose
caveat is
90% of. They would still lose 90% of their members, and it would be a Pyrrhic victory. But I'm fairly sure they could beat her.
Yeah, but like the name.
We're getting
is
lost in the
explicitly a
weeds again.
requirement.
We are.
Why don't we talk
But
about
there's
the
a
main
lot of
subplot
weeds
this
in
book?
this series.
I just want to talk about how fucking hilarious this book is, even in a series like the Dresden Files, which is generally funny anyway. There are so many fantastic lines in this book.
God.
So, okay. On the one hand, this is kind of this is a very polar book. The
Yeah,
reason
there-
I
there-
say this is
But
yes, it's hilarious and it's got like laser guided turkeys, but it also describes what is essentially an organization dedicated entirely to the R word.
Yeah, Lord Wraith is a monster who rapes his own daughters to keep them in line.
And kills his sons.
Yep.
Like
Oh,
the
and
only
he
reason
prevents
Thomas
his
is alive
older
is
children-
explicitly because he's obfuscating stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he also prevents his older children from telling his younger children that they're vampires, so they kill the first person they mate with.
To be fair, that's the
And then-
entire White Court, I'm fairly sure.
Fair, but still, like,
I mean, I'm fairly sure it's instituted by Wraith,
No,
but it
It's
should be
the
mentioned.
it's the entire White Court because he said so.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Also, he's homophobic.
yeah, the
Listen,
porn industry works the way it does because Lord Wraith is a homophobe who much prefers girls getting objectified.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lord Wraith is an awful person, and he deserves every bad thing that happens to him.
Mm-hmm.
However, this does bring up one of the more contentious parts of the series that kind of gets magnified the longer the series goes on. It brings up the whole... just the argument of just because you're horribly traumatized does not give you license to be a terrible person. Because Lara is a very difficult character to deal with, because she's kind of consistently portrayed as sympathetic.
Yeah, but she's also
But she also like is a sex trafficker. Like explicitly.
Yeah.
Sex trafficker are just heavily involved with the porn industry. I'm not
No,
sure
no,
how...
like the White Court explicitly like not necessarily trafficking to others, but internally they have like entire organizations dedicated to keeping sex slaves as cattle.
Yeah, that is kind of
so
why...
like it's like, okay, I get what Butcher is trying to do here. Pretty Lady is sympathetic, but at the same time,
I'd argue that she's not made that sympathetic.
She gets more and more. She's portrayed as
monster.
more and more sympathetic as the series goes on.
She is still a self-admitted monster. Like
she
is
portrayed as she is portrayed as better than the likes of Lord Wraith or others who absolutely just go out of their way to be the most evil dickheads on the face of the earth. But it is still noted multiple. It is still noted multiple times that Lara is not a good person, and the only reason that Harry isn't taking care of her is that she is the lesser of two evils in a very bad situation.
She would also be very inconvenient to take out.
She's also known to be extremely pragmatic and intelligent.
Yeah. She would not go down easy.
No, I'm pretty sure if it actually came down to a fight, Harry could kill her.
Oh like, yeah, no, definitely. It just wouldn't be an easy fight.
The thing is, especially in later books, I'm pretty sure Harry would like take the advice of many more competent people than him and not be anywhere near her. Like, I think McCoy, Ebenezer, he really introduced the optimal way for wizards to take out powerful entities. Nuke them from orbit.
Satellite?
Literally, yes.
Nuke them from
drop
orbit.
A meteor on them. Cast meteor.
Satellite, I think.
If a wizard can cast meteor, they should cast meteor.
do we want to talk about that now? Then the whole Blackstaff
we should
McCoy.
Probably bring that up. Oh, does what's his face show up in this book?
Kincaid, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kincaid is an interesting one.
Kincaid, I had respect for him until the short story released from his perspective that Butcher recently released.
Oh, I never read that one.
It's online. You can look it up.
So, like, okay, it's not a spoiler.
Don't talk about it. It is a spoiler.
No, it's not a spoiler.
It is.
No, I'm like... Let me put it in a chat and you can see if it's considered a spoiler.
I think we should just focus on what we're talking about with regard to the book rather than...
Okay, you know what? Fair. Yeah, so Kincaid, he shows up to take out... So, there's two plots going on here. He's dealing with the White Court and the Black Court at the same time in this book.
Yep.
Because this is the... So, he calls in Kincaid to help him take out a nest of Black Court vampires.
Mm-hmm. Because, hey, he's sick of being on the back foot, so this time he's just gonna take the fight to them.
Yeah. And what's funny is Harry's hand gets roasted. Literally.
Yeah. So,
because his barriers aren't heat-proof.
Yeah, big flaw in his shield. Still lets heat through.
Physical only.
Yeah, it is kinetic energy only.
Which doesn't really help when the opponent is using napalm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is
The
napalm,
sticks
right?
the
Yeah,
barrier,
no, it's
but,
napalm.
Flamethrowers.
It's a
And
napalm
napalm,
powered
yeah.
flamethrower. Yes.
Yeah, I think I remember the napalm sticks to the barrier, but the heat still roasts his hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's better than the alternative, but at the same time, that's not exactly good.
Yeah.
It's not optimal, no.
It is basically to the point where pretty much every doctor Harry goes to is like, you should really cut this off. But hey, Harry's
Yeah.
a wizard, so it doesn't really matter.
So
I mean,
here's,
it heals
okay,
eventually.
you know what?
It just takes a while.
Here's one thing I've always wondered about. Why did he not make himself a cool magical prosthetic?
Because
I absolutely believe that Harry would stick a cannon to his arm.
Because he's a
Go
stubborn
full guts.
Because he's a stubborn jackass, and the first person just was like, you should cut off your hand, and so he went no. If somebody
Well,
had
now that you've told me to do it, I'm not gonna.
if somebody brought up to him, hey, you could have a better hand, then maybe he would have done it. But no, they were like, no.
They should have prefaced it by saying, "Hey, you know Cyborg from Teen Titans and how he has a cannon arm? I'm listening."
You say that like Harry would have watched Teen Titans.
He
Well,
could have read
it
the
was
comics.
a comic book. He would have read the comics.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Let's be real. If he could have watched Teen Titans, he would have.
Yes. Oh no, he
100%.
would have absolutely. We've also we just sort of skipped over Blackstaff McCoy, so
Yeah.
It's
Ebenezer
not really that important in the grand scheme of things.
Ebenezer caused Krakatoa.
Oh right, I forgot about that.
Uh,
So what you're saying is Ebenezer is Squidward. I'm glad at least one person got that.
no, I got it too.
That was the deep cut.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why I said
Krakatoa.
Krakatoa the way I did.
So yeah, so here are the three that are mentioned outright: Tunguska,
Tunguska,
Krakatoa, and New
Krakatoa.
Madrid.
I don't know what. I'm not familiar with New Madrid.
Earthquake, I believe.
New Madrid earthquake, which was, let me just Google it, so I can make sure, 1811 to 1812.
I mean, his student is literally named after the Dresden firebombing, so it's a long time-honored tradition in their lineage.
And as we were told in at the end of Death Masks, yeah, Ebenezer was the one who brought down an old Russian satellite on top of Duke Ortega, and got away with it because the whole point of the Blackstaff is they are the White Council's hitman. They can do any black magic that they want, break any of the laws,
They can't
as long
break
as it's
any
on
of
job.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah,
can
they
break
can.
the law when they see fit, basically.
No, can
They're
they,
like they're like a sanctioned vigilante, more or
No, I'm
less.
pretty sure they can't break the time and outsider laws.
Oh yeah, I'm sure if they broke the outsider laws, that would be a big no-no.
Let me check.
Yeah, no. I think they basically just don't have restrictions in terms of who they and how they can use magic. Like stuff
Yeah.
like mind magic and killing people with magic is okay.
I mean, again, this is. I'm fairly sure they can break any of the laws of magic.
Yeah, but just because they can doesn't mean they should.
That's not what
Yeah.
I said. I just said they can.
I mean, because I know the gatekeeper basically. Oh right, we've met. Oh, we've
We
already
have met the
Rashid.
gatekeeper. Yes, we've
Yes,
met
we've met
Rashid.
Rashid.
Mhm.
Rashid is awesome.
But yeah, basically he's got a black staff.
Well, yeah, it's titled the
I'm
Black
sure isn't-
Staff
Isn't
for
in any
a very
way
good
important.
reason.
I'm sure it's not important for lore reasons.
No,
Definitely
definitely
not.
not.
No, sir. But yeah, no, the Harry basically recruits Kincaid, Ebenezer, and Murphy.
Wait, let me just get this straight. Ebenezer is confirmed to be able to cast Meteor, Quake, and Flare.
Yep.
Yes.
And he's the driver.
Do you think that's an intentional reference on Butcher's part?
Probably.
Possibly.
Did he play the
He's
Final Fantasy games?
He's enough of a nerd.
He is, but like
Then
you know,
again, I don't think he's much of a video gamer.
yeah, that's the thing. Is like
Yeah.
it could be a
It
coincidence.
might just be a D&D reference.
No, because I'm pretty sure like
He
meteor
might.
rain is a thing, but
He
I'm
probably
pretty
just
sure...
took these big events in history that were very destructive and went, yeah, I'm gonna make one of my characters responsible for those.
So yeah, but this is basically this is kind of a good look at the upper bound of wizards' powers in that they are literally capable of. They are the most powerful wizards are walking WMDs.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you know, that impression is reinforced all the more throughout the rest of the books, but yes. And I'm fairly sure, I can't remember which book it is, but, you know, Ebenezer is the weakest of the senior council.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Well,
caveat. He's the best
he-
battle mage. On
yeah,
the
he's the
senior
best
council.
combat mage, but he's the weakest in terms of overall magic abilities.
So apparently he's also, like his student,
A
got
thug.
the highest horsepower.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
in terms
just,
of raw power.
He is the Harry of the senior council, which is a scary thought.
I mean, he's just a look at what Harry would be when he grows up. Because
Yeah.
let's be honest, Harry's still a baby wizard at this point.
Incredibly
Yeah,
so.
that is true.
He's like, a wizard lives for about
300
400
years,
years, so a 40-year-old
400,
is
yeah.
the equivalent of a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like, let's be real, I'm pretty sure 400 is just the baseline, and
I'm fairly
No.
No, Ancient Maya is
Well-
older than 400.
yeah, Ancient Maya's older. He's like
I'm pretty
600.
sure Rashid is older as well than that.
I mean,
Rashid
Rashid is
is
older.
Rashid is a-
Rashid has differing circumstances. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it's
is true,
complicated.
yeah,
There's
that's a good
time
point.
fudgery going on with Rashid.
Anyway, back to Blood Rites.
Oh, are we gonna talk about the motorcycle jousting?
There's
I mean, again, I just wanted to go back to just the hilarity of this book, mostly in that first real meeting between Harry and Lara.
Oh yeah, he is so he finds her so attractive that he doesn't realize she's pointing a gun at him until like that's the third thing to cross his mind, after her voice and the fact that she chased after him in stilettos.
Doomy
just
stilettos.
stilettos, by the way. Nothing but stilettos.
No, she had a coat on. Not much
Wasn't
else.
their first meeting? Wasn't their first
Yeah,
meeting?
She put a coat on, but she didn't have anything under the coat.
yeah, and the
wasn't
coat
their
was
first-
open.
Also, I'm pretty sure that when Thomas turned on the charm to defuse the situation, Harry was interested.
I mean, I'm fairly sure Harry has shown bisexual tendencies.
No,
Would not be.
no. Well, so the only man he's shown attraction to is his half brother, which
His half brother,
You know.
who is a supernaturally attractive incubus.
Yeah. Basically, like
He-
Ryan Reynolds can turn a straight man gay in an instant.
That kind of thing.
also, I mean, to be fair, the White Court is pretty explicitly kind of Sweet Home Alabama, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, well, I mean, we said Lord Wraith has no problem having sex with his own daughters.
Whether they consent to it or not.
Mostly not.
No, Lord
Yeah.
Wraith, like, really does not... I don't think he knows what the word consent means.
If he does, he doesn't care. But yeah, he very much deserves to get. Oh, he was the direct target of Margaret Dresden's death curse, which basically prevented him from ever feeding again.
Which is the only
Which is-
reason Harry stood a chance.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, that's the
basically
thing.
crippled him.
Yeah, so Lord Wraith is basically in the same tier as, like, at the very minimum, the members of the senior council.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yep.
As
No,
far as
no-
like raw power goes.
Not to mention, he also has protection from the outsiders in that he isn't affected by active magic.
Now, that's never really explained, is it?
No.
Either
That's
way,
my knowledge.
either way, he's protected.
But the basic gist of it is he's got no way of regaining MP. That's
Yeah.
what.
And he hasn't been able to feed for over 25 years.
Yep.
And the fact that he's still held on to power all this time, just by virtue of being able to, more or less, part of it is because not a lot of people who know, but even the people who do know, I'm pretty sure they're afraid that he could at least do a kamikaze.
Yeah.
Right? Because even if one of the heavy hitters could take him down and out, he could probably take them down with him. Like, as usual, I'm pretty sure the only reason Harry won this fight is literal divine intervention.
Yeah. Also keys to the eyes.
Yeah, that doesn't help. Immune to magic, not immune to car keys.
Yeah. So just going back to that first conversation between Harry and Lara. Lara didn't realize upon seeing Harry at the porn studio that he was Harry Dresden. And only realizes it after chasing after him in stilettos and a coat. To which Harry's response is, "Don't feel bad. I cleverly concealed my identity as Harry the production assistant."
I do love that, though. To be fair, was he just not as famous at the time? I don't know.
No, he
why,
was pretty
'cause-
fucking famous.
Yeah, like
Ever since
many
book 4, he's
other-
been famous.
Yeah.
how many other
No,
like
book
6
3,
foot
he started-
8 people?
Book 3, he started a fucking war.
True.
How much more
Right,
famous
right,
can
like,
you
so-
get?
So, like, how many other 6 foot 8 people who are comfortable around supernatural entities are there? in
Also, Lara's
Chicago.
Lara's next question is, "Why are you threatening my brother?" And Harry responds, "It was a slow night and everyone else was busy," which is not the best response.
Oh, doesn't she shoot him in the ear for that?
Yeah, she takes a layer of skin off his ear.
So yeah, this is one of the things where Butcher attempts to humanize Lara. She does genuinely care about her siblings.
Yes.
You know, she just doesn't care about other people's siblings being turned into mindless sex slaves and R-worded to death.
Yep.
So, you know,
Again, the book very clearly makes her out to be a villain.
And she does, do that thing to her dad where she dominates him in more ways than one.
I mean, that
Again,
is literally the only...
Harry's consistent take on Lara is that she is awful, but she is the lesser of two evils at this stage.
And also, she's very hot. He's, like, very fixated on that. Because this
Yeah.
is still in...
She is.
He's
she
very
is a
sexually
succubus.
frustrated at this point.
And she keeps throwing whammies at him. He even says at one point, "Stop throwing whammies at me," I think. Because they can do, I guess, psychological attacks to, I guess, really drive up your sex drive.
I mean, white coat vampires can, turn up their come hither.
Yes, exactly what I was thinking. It's wild.
So, Mill, do you want to introduce the succubus gender studies topics and stuff we were talking about?
I'm very
As long as we're not
interested to
spending
hear
too
about what
long
this
on
is.
it.
I mean, the clear. Well, here's the thing. Like, Butcher has not addressed the idea of people being non-binary. I'm fairly sure. It is a very
yeah.
gendered series.
The mythical
Yeah.
succubus.
So, no, I was gonna talk. I was actually thinking of the other thing is like
Because,
the
like,
whole sex demon race as a whole is kind of yikes in a number of ways. Like
oh,
from a meta perspective.
that's less succubus gender studies and more succubus morality studies, I guess.
Succubus ethics.
Succubus ethics, which is also
Yes.
it's another one of our topics from the Mass Effect streams. We talk about a lot of crazy shit in the Mass Effect streams, just because
I should watch one of those.
like most of the time we're just driving around random planets searching for side quests, so we have to talk
And
about
also
something.
shooting people occasionally, and like,
Yeah.
let's be honest, we're at the point of the game where shooting people doesn't really take that much effort.
Yeah, like we do talk about the story a bit, but mostly it's just the random topics that pop into our heads.
Yeah, it's just kind of like is like at its core, the sex demon trope is kind of problematic from like an objectification perspective, and like from I'm sure you guys can like use your imaginations to like think about why
Yes, but
the
to
sex
be
demon trope is problematic.
yes, but at the
And
same
that's
at the
something
same
that, like, I
at
don't
the
think-
same time, what is done with Thomas does
Yes, I was gonna
deconstruct
say
it and try and humanize it.
Thomas is kind of like a better look at it, but outside of Thomas, and even with Thomas, like, it's not necessarily handled as well as it could.
Isn't that just the story of the Dresden Files, though? This is handled fairly well, but it probably could be handled a little better.
Yes.
In terms of the more controversial topics, anyway.
There's like no small number of those.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Uh,
you guys have anything else to talk about with this book, or do you want to move on to
I mean, I
the
do want to
Necromancer
talk
book?
about the hilarity that was Bobby the porn star.
Oh my god.
That fucking dumbass.
Oh yeah, and we
Unlovable
haven't really
dumbass.
talked about Inari yet, because I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's kind of a
She's,
very
like, not
wholesome
really
little side
important
plot.
at all.
I know, but it's a wholesome side plot, and it kind of gives hope to. I don't know.
So
Like, it
Inari
kinda
the
gives
baby
me-
Inari the baby succubus is in a relationship with Bobby the insecure porn actor.
The
Yep.
insecure himbo porn actor.
Yeah.
And kind of the theory on that at least it seemed like Thomas and Lara had is that because the White Court vampire's weakness is love, or like the touch
Well,
of a loved
the-
one, something like that.
I'm fairly sure it's just the Wraith's weakness, because I can't see how true love would affect like the Scavis or the Malvoras.
Yeah,
To be fair, it is magic. Like, it's
I
not,
know,
like,
but
really
what role does true love have in stopping fear and despair?
Okay, well
maybe?
here's the
Okay,
thing. Here's the thing. The
Despair,
Malvoras
yeah,
and the
I'm sure you
Scavises,
can see how despair.
with the
no,
Malvoras and the
all three of
Scavises,
them
though.
have opposites. All three have opposites.
yeah.
Wait a
with the
second,
racist-
don't the
Guys,
three...
guys. They do talk about later in the book. This isn't much of a spoiler because it's a very minor thing, but they do talk about the Malvoras and the Scavises didn't actually traditionally feed on fear and despair. They were traditionally much more like the Wraiths, but only in recent years had gone towards those other sources of food, I guess.
That makes sense.
So,
Okay,
like-
also,
That less competition.
also, is it just me, or did the three flavors of White Court Vampire correspond to the three swords?
Yes, because
Yeah,
they,
in a way.
Love,
they
hope, and
correspond with the opposites of the three virtues.
I'm pretty sure, like, the only one that's kind of iffy is fear and faith. Like, despair versus hope and love versus lust is kind of, this is
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm very
pretty
curious as to why
fear
that is.
corresponds
Okay.
most with courage.
Okay. So Word of Jim from 2009. You've said that true love only protects against White Court vamps feeding on lust. What protects against the other White Court vamps? The vamps who feed on fear get bad effects from real courage. Those who feed on despair choke on hope.
Yep, that tracks.
Hmm.
So we're going by Green Lantern rules then.
Hmm.
More or less, it seems like.
Yeah.
Huh. But anyway,
No.
back
Bobby and
to
Inari
Inari.
are pretty pretty sweet together, even if we barely really see them together.
Yeah, but my point was with that is like the theory of Thomas and Lara is that if Inari's kind of first time is out of love, then maybe it'll kill the hunger demon inside her and she
Hmm.
won't have to feed to survive or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that they're thinking that like she might have a chance to live a normal life and not have to be a part of their family and all that bullshit
Hmm.
politics and all the shit.
Yeah. We never. I don't think we do find out, at least in this book, if they're right or not.
I think that
No.
like
I mean, they do not show up again in the next 11 books, so I'm pretty sure they were just put on a bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not like actively concerned, but I'm fairly sure, or confirmed, sorry, but I'm fairly sure it is true. Like, certainly Thomas and Lara are almost certain of it, and there's something
Yeah.
about it that's mentioned in one of the side stories, one of the Bigfoot side stories that certainly makes it seem more like realistic and more confirmed.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Yeah, so that I thought that was something that we needed to touch on because that was a very interesting part of the White Court because it really is like a difference. There's really big difference between the three courts of vampires and the White Court,
mm,
as mentioned multiple times in the books, are the closest to humans,
mm,
and they're the only ones that are born vampires. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic there.
mm-hmm,
Though, though there is a caveat to that, in
Uh-huh.
that even though they're born vampires, they're also kind of one of the most non-standard species in the sense that they are not technically one entity.
mm.
A
Yeah, it's two
white
separate
court
ones.
vampires are like lichens. I'm
Lich-
not sure how that is pronounced.
Lycans
Uh, but like
liches?
or liches?
no, the moss. I'm talking
Oh,
about the thing
lichens.
that's
Lichen.
like
Lichen. It's
lichen.
lichen.
Yes. So basically, a white court vampire consists of a human and a hunger demon that exist in a symbiotic relationship, which is basically parasitism.
It's a parasitic relationship, not really symbiosis.
Oh no, symbiosis is any mutualism is when they're mutually beneficial. Parasitism is when one side benefits exclusively. Symbiotic is kind of the catch-all term.
Mm.
I mean, the White Court vamps are the only ones who are born rather than made as well.
Yeah.
Yes, but
White court
the
vamps
thing
can't
is,
be
the
made.
first we don't actually know how the first ones came about because like white court vamps are heavily implied to not be natural.
No.
Yeah, no, it was a curse placed on the bloodline.
I don't think we know for certain what the origins are.
That's as like it's been alluded to that it was a curse placed on the bloodline, much like the Red Court vampires.
Mm.
Let me check the word of Jim.
I think the only
Regardless.
one we know for sure really is the Black Court are descendants of
Yeah.
Dracul.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, I kind of want to move on to Deadbeat because it's one of my favorite books in the series.
Oh, absolutely. But I just want to mention two more things before we move on. First, Trixie Vixen.
Yes, she's hilarious.
The fact is, they had a chance to actually take out Harry to the point where he wouldn't have been able to stop the entropy curse from killing him. But it fucked up because Trixie Vixen couldn't remember his name.
That's hilarious.
That's
Yep.
just, that's kind of like on them.
That is on them.
Harry literally walks away with a murder weapon, covering it in his prints, and hands it to somebody who thinks he's a murderer, and he still doesn't get caught by the cops.
Oh, that's funny as hell.
Because Trixie
Yeah,
Vixen
'cause
can't
she-
remember his name.
Yeah, she was a dumb broad.
Just a dumbass.
That's
general.
another funny line that I've just remembered. I haven't actually seen it in the TV tropes page, but like Trixie Vixen justifies her holding a gun on Harry by Harry not getting her a coffee, and Harry in his head is just like, that one's fair. I didn't get the coffee. I never did get her a coffee, so I can't argue against that aspect of it. Honestly.
Yes.
But yes, we can move on to Deadbeat, the one with the necromancers and the undead T-Rex.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Black Court from earlier, Mavra shows up again.
Yeah, because
And she
hey,
is, in
she didn't
fact-
actually die. As it turns out, Kincaid was right when he said Mavra, tottering out of the smoke to be gunned down was kind of suspicious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kincaid is a smart man. I don't necessarily like him, but he is a smart man.
Oh, we didn't,
also,
we didn't
there was
mention
that
this
thing-
last book. Kincaid is also, centuries old.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you
But
kind of.
Kincaid
That's
is
how I know the core.
Find
I
out that
believe
he
the
had a connection.
implication at this point in the series is that he's a hybrid of some sort.
He is a scion
Yeah.
of a human and a demon.
Most likely,
Yeah,
yeah.
We don't know for
Antichrist.
sure that it's a demon. There's any number of supernatural entities that are pretty demonic looking.
No, it's apparently said in
Regardless.
Blood Rites that he is the child of a demon and a human.
Okay, but this is kind of interesting. We haven't talked about the fact that there's two kinds of demons in Dresden Files.
Yes.
Fallen
There's
angels
the-
and what's the other one?
Yeah, there's the fairy demons and there's the hell demons.
Mm.
Since he's called the Hellhound, it's possible that his parent is a hell demon.
Yes.
One of the fallen, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if the fallen are necessarily hell demons, or if they're part of
The
that. or if
fallen
they're-
are, no, the fallen are... So there's explicitly bad things in hell.
Yes.
So it's not that are not necessarily the fallen. So I think the fallen are just the ones that are out and about the most often.
Most likely, yeah. Because we see Harry interacting with a straight up demon in the first or second book.
And that's
but that's
like
a fairy
demon.
demon.
That's a fairy demon, not a hell demon.
Ah.
Or I mean, maybe no. I think it still is a hell demon. It's just a lower tier of demon.
No, because he summons it from the Never Never.
Yeah, who says hell isn't in the Never Never somewhere?
I believe that's been explicitly stated, is that hell is kind of its own thing. In a later
yes,
book.
it is.
Anything to do with the Abrahamic religions is kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
I'm just going through the word of Jim's to see if there's anything actually implicitly stated about, or explicitly stated about Kincaid. There doesn't seem to be. Yeah, not really. But anyway, Deadbeat. So, as we said, Mavra returns and blackmails Harry into getting her the Word of Kemmler, a how-to book written by an infamous necromancer. This, of course, brings Harry into conflict with Kemmler's students, leaving him so horrendously outgunned that he actually calls in the council to supplement his support team of Thomas and Waldo Butters, pathologist extraordinaire and newbie to the supernatural world,
And also the dog.
and Mouse, as Murphy is away on a Hawaiian holiday with Kincaid.
Yep.
They
Which
bang.
Harry absolutely loves.
Not
He's
only
super happy with this development.
Not only is the council backup lacking, to say the least, in Harry's eyes, it's so bad that they resort to drafting Harry into the Wardens due to losses from the Red Court War.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, he gets drafted and it's hilarious.
The irony.
just Bob's reaction to it of just, oh my god, Harry, you stole a warden's cloak?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of
To be
Bob,
fair, it is a fair reaction.
It is.
speaking of Bob, we find out in this book that Bob was previously owned by
I was
Kemble,
getting
the
to that.
famous necromancer.
I was
Yes.
getting to that in the summary, because also complicating matters is the Earl King, a horrendously strong fairy with a grudge against Harry, because of course.
There's like, I believe there's like no horrendously strong fairies that don't have some sort of grudge against
In
Harry.
fairness, I wouldn't necessarily call it a grudge. It's more just like, well, you've taken me on, so we kind of have to fight, and that is inevitably going to end with me killing you. I'm fairly sure that's more of the deal than an actual grudge.
Well, no, it started because Harry summoned him and bound him.
Again, though, like, the Earl King comes across Harry at the end of the book is like, I'm not going to kill you. It's not a fair fight right now. Later on, maybe. Like, we get an idea in later books of the Earl King, and I don't get the feeling that, it was a grudge being held. It was just like, you know, you tried to bind me. That means we're coming into conflict. That means I kind of have to try and kill you.
But like, he doesn't try too hard.
No.
So ironically enough, the Earl King is kind of one of the big goods of the series.
It's weird, yes, but, you know, King of Goblins and all that. But anyway, Harry does manage...
there's another thing I was gonna say about
Can it wait until
Earl King is that he's kind of our introduction to the Misk category of fairies. There's the Summer Court and there's the Winter Court. The Earl King is the first major player we see among the Wild Fae, which are basically anyone who's not either summer or winter. They're kind of like a motley, like they're just a very, they're the miscellaneous category.
Yes.
And yet the Earl King is on par with Mab and Titania.
Well, no, because he's like one of the big boys of...
I thought he was just below that level.
No, he's on par with them.
Is he?
He's like
if
Switzerland, though. He stays uninvolved in all the bullshit, so he's just kind of like... He just doesn't get involved. It's not that he can't.
I mean, he's at the
measure
very
up.
least... So he's on par with a certain CEO.
Yeah.
And that
He's God level
CEO
at
is
least.
on par with Mab and Titania.
Okay,
so...
fair enough. I was forgetting. I was
property.
forgetting that sort of, you know, forgetting that aspect of it. Yeah. Anyway, back to the summary. Harry does find the word of Kemmler, then has it stolen by one of the necromancers. He is then tortured by Quintus Cassius, former Denarian, rescued by Butters and Mouse, and then decides to resurrect Sue the T-Rex.
Mouse goes
Also-
nom nom.
Mouse just straight up murders a dude.
Yep, I love it.
Glorious.
He is a good boy.
It's amazing.
Might be the first time, it's not the last time.
Also, just for context, for those who don't remember, Cassius is the former Denarian, the one who Harry
boy.
decided to break both of his knees and ankles.
Snake Boy.
Yeah.
And then he hits Harry with his first death curse.
Which is Die
Oh, yeah.
Alone, which is actually a pretty shitty death curse, honestly.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Harry has a T-Rex now. Warden Commander Is it Lucio? I think it's Lucio.
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 It's Lucio.
Unless you're
He
gonna,
is Italian, so I'm
unless
just
you're gonna
probably err on the
nitpick
side
this
of
this
Lucio.
pronunciation as well, Fuzzy.
No, I'm fine. Like, I have a decent amount of respect for Lucio.
Anyway, Warden Commander Lucio is taken out by one of the necromancers, the Corpse Taker. In doing so, Corpse Taker takes Lucio's body, which Harry then shoots in the head, execution style, because, hey, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Morgan's not privy to this information, and,
He thinks Harry just shot Lucio herself.
yeah, and has to be
Which
shot.
I'm pretty
little-
sure they're like, they bang?
No, they never banged.
No,
that was
he
the
wanted
point.
to.
They never banged.
That was the
Morgan was
that was
being
the-
weird. Was weird about it.
That was the point. They Morgan wanted to bang, but they never did.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Morgan has to be kneecapped, leaving pretty much the only two people left as Harry and good old young warden Carlos Ramirez, whose ego is bigger than his skill for the time being.
I love Ramirez.
No, Ramirez is
great.
fantastic. Ramirez is legitimately fantastic, and I love him.
I like Ramirez decently, though
Butcher
I'm
has
not...
done him dirty, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, he did, Butcher did him dirty.
Yeah.
Let's not elaborate on that for now, because he's fun in this book.
Anyway, the pair of them take out the second of the three necromancers in Gravane, but the third, Cowl and Kumori, seem like too much for them until Bob, who was actually skull-napped by Cowl due to Bob's status as Kemmler's former lab assistant, takes over Sue.
Is this the one where Cowl and Komori are
Yes.
introduced?
Yes.
Yeah.
I always thought they were introduced in Death... I always get Death Masks and Deadbeat confused.
Nope,
Fair,
this
the
was
Power
booked. Unfortunately for Cowl, Harry slugs him in the chin with his staff and basically sets off a supernatural nuke in Cowl's face. Oh, and then Harry gives the book to Mavra, but threatens her to stay away. Quite effectively, to be fair, because we don't see her for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I just wanna state that this is my favorite book in the series solely because as a child I had a fairly strong fear of zombies, and whenever I would be forced to watch anything with zombie or zombie-like creatures, I would have nightmares. Up until I read this book and realized the greatest counter to zombies is a T-Rex.
I mean,
Yeah.
the greatest counter to a lot of things is a T-Rex.
So the thing with Sue, the T-Rex being reanimated, is based on the rules of magic and necromancy in the Dresden verse. Zombifying or reanimating a human corpse is against the laws of magic, but reanimating an animal corpse is not. And the other thing is, the older the remains, the stronger they are. Now, most of the remains summoned by the necromancers are anywhere from a few years old to a few hundred years old. Sue is 65 million years old.
More than that,
To the
isn't
math.
it? 65 million years is just when the last dinosaur died. Sue is older than that. I'm gonna see how old.
By a few. I think.
Sue is real, by the way.
Yeah, Sue is
yeah.
Sue is a real T-Rex.
Unfortunately, she is not alive. And
Despite her Twitter
What's
account
up?
being incredibly active and hilarious.
Yeah, Sue is I think, one of the most complete T-Rex skeletons that have ever been
the
discovered.
most, I believe. As of the writing of the book, the most, I think.
Yeah.
So Sue is about 67 million years old. So
So,
an extra,
yeah.
extra 2 million.
So yeah, Sue is basically the strongest zombified being in that's ever been used.
Yeah, and here's something I bet nobody in the audience knew. T-Rexes don't corner well in urban settings.
Oh, also, by the way, the fact that this is a side plot, Waldo Butters, Polka will never die, but he uses his one-man band costume. He has a one-man band polka costume that he uses to like make music and shit. He uses the drum of that to be the drummer for the necro.
So
Magic
basically, how zombies work is they are brought back to life, but there has to be basically a beat to simulate a heartbeat going. Otherwise,
Yeah,
the
artificial
zombies
heartbeat.
go out of control. Which led to a fairly hilarious line when Harry tells Butters to keep playing, and Butters goes, "I know, I stopped playing No More Dinosaur." And Harry goes, "While they are on the back of said dinosaur, no, you stop playing. Dinosaur does whatever the hell it wants."
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like that's the way to keep them under control, more or less.
Yeah, and literally every reaction to Sue is, "Holy shit, you did this?"
Yeah. basically.
It's pretty fucking incredible.
The best part is even that, like, the best part is that they're like, I feel like this should be illegal, even though it's not. I feel like it should be.
And Harry is
Yeah,
very
it
quick
was
to
a
say,
loophole.
no, not illegal at all. Not illegal at all. Completely
This is
loophole in the laws of
thank you.
magic.
a classic loophole.
Yeah. We also get a Jurassic Park reference because they have Sue eat. I think it was the corpse taker's minion. The
Oh,
Yeah,
ghoul.
the
yeah.
ghoul. The
Lawyer
ghoul.
style.
And basically, you know, as it turns out, not even ghouls know what to do when there's a T-Rex bearing down on you and about to eat you. So he did the full lawyer from the first Jurassic Park, to which Butters basically says, "Why would you do that? Did you not watch the movie?"
I mean, we don't know that the ghoul didn't watch the movie. Maybe the ghoul just, like, fell asleep during that part.
Well, it didn't help the ghoul at all.
Yeah.
Again, this. I mean, this is just, you know, par for the course for the Dresden Files, but it's just another very funny book in that. At one point, while trying to get information, Thomas calls Lara to get some info, and gets that info by saying Harry threatened to tell everyone that she is in fact the head of the White Court rather than her dominated father.
Her cucked father.
Yeah, and Harry's response is, "So you're telling me that I just engaged in blackmail against the ruler of the White Court by proxy?" And Thomas just goes, "Yeah, you've got some great big brass balls on you to do something like that, Harry."
To be fair,
That's how he gets out of a lot of situations, though, is his big fat brass balls.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of people like Harry's balls. Or at least the idea of them. Like, Harry is surprisingly popular with the ladies. It's just most of those ladies are horrifying magical creatures that are more praying mantis than anything else.
Yeah.
They either want to use him or eat him.
Or both!
Well,
Oh, both,
Or
yeah.
both.
Yeah.
but anyways, getting back to this, yeah, no, the whole Polka will never die thing was amazing.
Yeah. Butters, that is why Butters is one of my favorite characters.
I think Butcher also did Butters a little dirty at certain points in the series, but yes, I do like him for the most part.
Oh, but Butters got some crazy dubs as well.
Let's not get into future stuff for now. Let's stay
Not yet.
in the
We'll
present.
talk about it.
We'll talk about it eventually.
Yeah, in this book, Butters is mostly a coward. Which, you know,
Yeah.
it's completely fair. He has just been thrown into the deep end. He was attacked by zombies, including the zombie
He's
of
also
a guy.
like 5'2".
Yeah, he was attacked by the zombie of a guy who, at the very least, was an acquaintance, if not a friend. And then is suddenly told that, hey, magic exists. Have fun with that revelation.
Yeah, magic exists, and I'm a wizard.
Necromancy also
Well, you
exists.
already knew that.
When he gets told that necromancy exists, Butters uses the exclamation, "Jesus!" To which Harry's response is, "No, I don't think they're responsible for that one."
Which, yes, Butters does in fact later learn. Yeah, no, not only does... So, I feel like... Okay, so, here's a question I've been wondering about for a while.
Mm.
There's a lot of people in this universe that explicitly know that capital G God Almighty explicitly exists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why do they, which implies that heaven and hell also exist. So why do they still do bad things?
I don't know.
I mean, in some cases, it's because they're assholes.
I
Or
mean,
because they're immortal. Or they're trying to get
I
to be
was
immortal.
gonna say how many
Yeah.
of those people who know God exists and yet still do bad things are functionally immortal and or believe they will never die.
The thing is, though, like I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, like there's even like immortals have pretty explicit what's it called?
We also don't know what
Histories of dying.
we also
like,
don't know what
repeatedly.
the rules for immortals after death are. Like, obviously, yes, mortals will almost certainly go to heaven and hell or their version of heaven and hell, but like, I'm not sure if that's the case for immortals. Like,
We don't know. We just don't know.
mostly because we've not seen the viewpoint of an immortal who has died.
Well, I mean, we only really see viewpoints outside of Harry's during short stories.
Yeah. And again, none of them have been immortals who have died.
Nope.
Not that immortals dyings happens very often, because, hey, kind of, ruins the whole immortality concept.
Yeah. Unless it's like some sort of conditional or limited immortality.
Mm-hmm.
Like elves being ageless in Lord of the Rings, for instance.
I've been reading that recently.
It's good,
Oh,
isn't
so
it?
it's a good example.
So I think 700 pages in.
Out of how many?
1,000.
You've passed the hump.
Yeah, no, I'm going at a good click, and I've gotten past gotten past where I think I dropped it the last time I tried to read it, so I'm doing
Two
doing
Towers
well.
is a bit of a hump.
Yeah, the movie really improved on Two Towers. I'm gonna be honest.
The movie
Anyways, we're getting
improved
a
on
bit
a
off
lot of
topic.
things.
But yes, but moving back to Dresden Files, we also get the alphas coming back in this book.
The alphas are fun.
Mm-hmm.
When we actually get them.
Facto mundo.
Yeah,
So,
They're like the Teen Titans.
kinda.
Except they're all Beast Boy.
not
kinda.
even like as cool as Beast Boy though is the thing.
They're kind of like a very niche, limited Beast Boy.
Yeah.
They're like if Beast Boy was like competent.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfair to Beast Boy.
So we should discuss the fact that Harry is very much outclassed in this book, even more so than usual, I would say.
Oh, Cal just straight up wrecks his shit.
So Cowl is like basically senior council level,
Yeah.
if not higher.
Yeah.
Harry
to be
drops a car on him and it does nothing.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, Cal, Gravane, and Corpse Taker were all direct students of Kemmler, who apparently took several attempts to kill, and they had to be extra thorough with killing him.
Let me just check the wiki
The
on
line
this, but I'm
was-
fairly sure
the-
Kemmler
I believe the line was, they killed him good, a couple of times. He'd come back after they killed him early in the 19th century, so they were really careful this time. So yeah,
Also, it's
he did
heavily
not.
implied that
Kemmler was killed 7 times over the course of his life. He was responsible for World War One.
Yes, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
And it took pretty much the entire White Council to take him down.
Mm-hmm.
He also actually appears in one of the short stories, which is very interesting.
I was unaware of that.
Fistful of Warlocks, which is Lucio in the early 20th century.
Oh right.
Lucio and Wyatt Yep.
Wyatt Earp. Yes, he's
Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
That one dude.
One of your fucking American folk heroes that I don't care about.
It's Wyatt Earp. It's Wyatt
Don't
Earp.
know that he's necessarily a hero, but yes.
Whatever. I don't care about him. He's not British.
That's fair.
But yeah, he was awful. And he is actually. So I'm fairly sure in one of the earlier streams we did mention that Harry got Bob from Justin Dumont, Harry's adoptive father and all-round asshole. Dumont got Bob from Kemmler.
Yeah, more like just picked him up off of the ground
Yeah,
after
Dumont-
someone else did the dirty work to kill Kemmler.
Dumont pulled Bob out of the ruins of Kemmler's lab. Harry pulled Bob out of the ruins of Dumont's lab. Just if you're wondering
here.
Yeah, just if you're wondering what the life cycle of Bob is like. Or the possession
Poor guy,
cycle
Bob.
of Bob is like.
Rich Bob, I guess.
So there were three main students of Kemmler. Cowell, who, as we mentioned, is like senior council level strength, and pretty fucking insane. Let's be honest. Well, they're all insane, but varying degrees.
Well, Cal at least is very no nonsense compared to the other two.
Cowell is closer to the Nicodemus level of crazy.
Yes. Kind of a sociopath type.
Yes. Then we have Gravane, who was just straight crazy.
Yeah, he's isn't Gravane the Nazi-like one?
Yes.
I don't
But-
think it's Nazi-like.
Very certainly just Nazi-ish, or just Nazi
Fair.
on its own.
I'm pretty sure he predates the Nazis, but
Yes, no,
I mean,
because he also appears in this short story with Lucio.
I wouldn't put it past him if Gravane had something to do with the establishment of the Nazis.
Would not be surprising. Yeah, and then there's of course Corpse Digger, who is just straight up psychotically evil.
Yeah. But yeah, Gravane is so crazy that when Ramirez basically cuts his throat and shoots him in the head, he's so like he doesn't believe he's about to die basically, and so he doesn't actually like use his death curse.
Yeah.
But pretty lucky for.
Very lucky for Ramirez and Harry. Very lucky.
Yes. I mean, in the case of Corpse Digger, Harry at least deliberately shoots her in the head so as to avoid.
Well,
the death curse, but-
literally, Corpse Taker has no chance to react because he literally just pulls his gun, says Corpse Taker, and shoots.
Yeah.
And also, worth noting is that Corpse Taker thought. I'm actually not sure of Corpse Taker's like gender.
I'm gonna go with non-gender terms of they.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Corpse Taker doesn't know that Harry's figured it out by this point.
No.
Well,
Corpse
Harry
Taker
also
did
went
not
on a
know it
hunch.
at all. Yeah.
He freaking acted on a hunch, which is why like Morgan got so mad at him.
Yeah. No, as I said, that was the
I mean,
point.
I'd be mad too if because like
that was the point. Corpse Taker was sword fighting with Lucio, let Lucio gut their body, and then transferred into Lucio's body. Intending to act as Lucio, and then Harry saw through it. Because let's be real, Corpse Taker wasn't a fantastic actor.
No.
And literally, Harry just shoots Corpse Taker in the back of the head with no warning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the only warning Corpse Taker has is the fact that Harry literally yells Corpse Taker and then a second later shoots. There was no opportunity to do anything.
again, I do kind of understand why Morgan was pissed.
Oh yeah. And fair play to Morgan, he was willing to take on Sue to get to Harry.
I don't. So Morgan probably could have managed it, but at the same time, it's just like probably wouldn't have ended too well.
I think this is the first book we actually get to see Morgan casting magic.
No, because
think-
he did a fire spell. In
When?
the first book. The first book, he
Did he?
Harry
for a long
explicitly
time.
used Morgan's flame. Actually, hang on.
I don't think he did.
No, Harry talked about how Morgan was really good at battle magic. He didn't actually.
Yeah, he
cast
didn't
any
actually
battle
cast it
magic.
because we see here that he's very earth magic focused.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also don't remember the first book very well since it's been so long since I've read it. But yeah, it tracks that more. This is the first time we've actually seen Morgan use magic.
So what else is there for Deadbeat? Is this the first book we meet Rollins?
Yes, actually, I think so.
I believe we also meet Mort in this book.
No, we've met Mort. We've met Mort because we met Mort in book 3, and then again in book 5.
Right.
Trying to remember, but yes, it was.
And I think
Deadbeat.
at this
How'd
point
we-
he's kind of turned his life around, right?
yeah,
Vaguely.
Yeah.
that's right.
Somewhat, yeah.
That's how we meet Rollins because he was investigating the one of the corpse takers' corpse takings.
Yeah. Rollins is
Rollins is
one of
great.
the better cop characters. He's awesome.
Rollins
He's the
is
definition
great.
of too old for this shit.
He really is.
Mm-hmm.
What else is there from Deadbeat?
Oh, there's also we learn the reason why Harry gets conscripted into the Wardens is because they've taken such heavy casualties in the war against the Red Corps.
Yeah.
I think it went from like 200 before the war to about 50 at this point in the story.
Yeah. Also, we like get to see, I think, the first real glimpse of the Merlin being the Merlin,
Yes.
because we learn that he held off the entire Red Court with a ward. A single
It
ward.
wasn't even like
A single.
One. It was like
a
kind
sing-
of slapshot.
Yeah, a single ward in the Never Never, meaning he didn't even have a threshold to like improve it. Hello, Biscuit.
Oh, you can hear that, can you?
Yes.
Yes, we heard
Yes.
scurrying.
She does like to scurry.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. This
So-
book is just really, really fun, and I honestly think Deadbeat is the point in which the series really grows into its own.
Yeah.
It's actually why a lot of people recommend starting on Deadbeat.
I
It's-
don't think
it's-
that's such a good idea.
Well, no, because it's also
Calm
Biscuit,
down.
no.
Calm down, Biscuit.
Biscuit. No, we're talking about books, not dogs.
Getting you dinner. Hang on.
But yeah, I'm fairly sure Butcher actually said Deadbeat can be used as a starting point to the series.
I mean, does it have kind of a spoiler for the previous book right at the beginning, though?
I mean, yeah, but it's gonna spoil stuff regardless. Like it is.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Like I'm almost certain that it's like not like 100% recommended, but it can be used as the starting off point for the series.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we haven't. the big thing that I forgot in the summary was the fact that Lashiel is
Yeah,
up and about.
Lashiel. This is actually I think this is the book where we finally meet Lash.
Certainly where she starts playing an active role, yeah.
Yeah.
And Sheila.
Yeah, Sheila.
Yep, Sheila.
Oh, also, I will say one other thing. We have not talked at all about Komori, which just fits her character amazingly because she is the literal personification of the meme of shows up, doesn't elaborate, leaves.
Like,
Yep.
the main thing about Kumori is to sort of give Harry a chance to beat down the necromancer rhetoric.
And also it gives Cal it makes Cal more I don't know about humanized, but makes him more complex as a character by giving him an actual
Like a disciple.
apprentice to bounce off of.
Oh, here's
Because
the thing.
otherwise Cal is extremely stern.
Yeah, here's the other thing we haven't mentioned. Carol and Kumori were at Bianca's party in book 3.
Right. They're also the
so-
only necromancers who survived this book that we know of.
Also, Komori, but like Komori does not show up at any point in the series after this.
Not yet, no.
I would not be surprised if she showed up again at some point. Like Komori, it's possible she died in the explosion that took out Cal at the end of the book. Like, it's also they would have told us if she died.
I mean, like, what is there to tell?
I mean, they wouldn't. Do you really think that Jim Butcher would have a character make a big deal about character having a hidden identity and then just kill them off without any knowledge, even a hint as to who they are?
I mean, yeah, but still, like, frankly, and spoiler for later book, it's not that much of a spoiler, but it is still a spoiler. It's frankly a miracle that Cal survived, and he was stronger.
Yes. Well, Komori wasn't that person like Cal was, though.
I still say, we'll see. But as Fuzzy has said, Kumori has not shown up yet.
Fair.
I
We
will
also
say,
don't know who Cal is either, for that matter.
speaking of not showing up, I am going to have to bounce.
Alright.
That's fair. You seem to have dog stuff to take care of.
Yeah, no. But I thank you, everyone. I will let you guys get to it. Bye-bye.
Alright, see you, Fuzzy.
Later.
So yeah, Red Court used sarin gas to attack the wizards.
Yeah, and caused thousands of civilian casualties in the process.
Yeah, kind of why sarin gas is, weapon of mass
war
destruction and a war
It
crime.
is a bioweapon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but hey, those vampires don't care about a pesky thing like Geneva.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Red Court is kind of filled with monsters, both literally and metaphorically.
Yeah. So we mentioned it a little bit. So, what is basically the subplot of this book is that Harry is supposedly getting into a relationship with a worker at his local supernatural bookstore called Sheila, who has a photographic memory and keeps helping him out mysteriously until he finally realizes that, hey, Sheila doesn't exist, because why would a woman be interested in him?
Yep.
Oh, here's a big thing. So Marcone does actually appear in this book. He didn't appear in Blood Rites, as far as I remember, but he does appear in this one. And it is literally to save Harry from his predetermined death.
Which one is that?
Like, he is supposed to be killed by the ghoul in the alley. Like, that is what Guard, aka a Valkyrie, says.
Ah,
Yeah.
And Marcone's response is, what is the point of having free will if one cannot occasionally spit in the eye of destiny?
Yep.
mm-hmm.
And that was all because of Lashiel, I think, right?
No?
The ghoul in the alley was completely unrelated.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
The ghoul in the alley was just there because, Harry was sticking his nose in necromancer's business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just dumb Harry shit.
Mm-hmm. We also get a interesting conversation with Harry's dad.
Right. I think Mort helped him talk to him, right?
No, it literally just happened because it was Halloween and therefore the veil was thin, and I think he was given an opportunity because something else happened. I can't remember the exact circumstances for that. Let's see if I can remember exactly what those circumstances were, but I don't think I can. Huh. He's not even on the character list on TV Tropes. Interesting. I did not expect that. Either way, he has a conversation with Harry. I believe it's when Harry is unconscious after Cassius's attack. And it's, again, I can't remember the exact wordings of the conversation, but it was as interesting as a conversation with a dead person can be.
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently he is only able to speak to Harry because others have crossed the line, whatever that means. So what else is there for Deadbeat? I mean, beyond again the awesomeness of a T-Rex resurrection.
I mean, this book is very action focused, so there's not much to talk about beyond the subplots and the awesome action.
Oh, interesting thing to note. Harry tries to summon Leia for information, and Mab comes instead.
Oh yeah, because Leia is in timeout for reasons.
Is indisposed right now, which we get more explanation for in later books. I believe in probably
next book,
book's
I think.
time. Yeah, I think it's proven
I think
guilty.
it's
proven guilty.
book,
Yeah, it's proven
I think
guilty.
It's okay.
Which is book 8. So yeah.
Yeah, she is unavailable, so Matt fills in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
Which
we
is a
find out
scary
that
thought.
that Kemmler was so insane and psychotic that even Mab regards him as a madman, which says a lot about Kemmler.
Says a very distinct amount, yes. I mean, it's to the point where Bob, a spirit of knowledge, chose to forget everything pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't actually talked about the Dark Hallow and what it was supposed to achieve. So basically, what it was meant to do is it was meant to suck living energy up. In fact, I think it said it would kill like everyone in like a several blocks radius. I think I can't remember exactly what the distance was. Within about an area within a mile. And then the person performing it then sucks in this energy and becomes a junior league god.
Yeah, basically a lowercase g god.
But still, horrifically powerful. And I believe it is canon that Kemmler was killed while trying to do this ritual.
That tracks.
But yeah, it's also like a vortex of dark magical energy at that. And so when somebody comes swinging a club like a monkey and breaking everything up, it goes poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Which is exactly what Harry does, because that's what Harry does. I'm fairly sure Harry takes distinct pleasure in walking into a carefully crafted magical thing and destroying it with his club.
Yes. Yeah, not really much else to discuss with this book beyond how awesome it is.
Yeah, no, it's very awesome.
Yeah, honestly, like Deadbeat, probably the point in the series where it starts getting real good. And that trend continues with the next few books.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, basically, yeah, no, that trend just stays going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next time we talk about the Dresden Files, we will be discussing books 8 and 9, which are respectively Proven Guilty and White Knights, with an N, not with a K.
White Knight is also a very, very good book.
Yes.
Very much love
Yeah.
The finale to that one.
It's good.
I'm trying to remember if there is anything else to mention for Deadbeat.
Not that I can remember.
We have mentioned that Murphy is on holiday in Hawaii with Kincaid.
Yep. And we didn't mention the thing about Thomas.
Oh, I mean the fact that Thomas is living with Harry, and as it turns out, being a supernatural sex demon makes it very hard to keep minimum wage jobs.
Because you constantly are getting attacked by members of the opposite sex who want to bone you.
Yeah.
No, not just members of the opposite sex.
In Thomas's case, it's pretty much exclusively stated to be women, but there might have been men as well. But we only know of the cases involving
I think
women.
I remember when he got fired from his one job because the manager was trying to bone him.
The manager was
Harry
female.
said, "Well, at least this one was a female."
Oh, good point. That did happen.
Right. Yeah, no.
This is also the first book in which Thomas and Harry are mistaken for gay.
Yeah, it's the first. It happens multiple times.
It happens a lot. And Thomas plays along with it because he's a dick.
It's funny.
It's hilarious.
He just has fun. He's the older brother, so he needs to torment the younger.
Yeah.
It is what older brothers do. But yes. Anyways.
I mean, I'm just trying to remember how many Ramirez quotes we have in this book.
We get more of him in the later books.
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
Especially in
there's a
9.
yeah, there's a good line where he says, "Anyone who lets me ride their dinosaur can call me Carlos," which is a
Yes.
pretty good line. Like when they're trying to psych themselves up to go after Cowl and Kumori, he's just like, "But if we pull this off, we'll get the works. Medals, maybe our faces on cereal boxes, lots of pretty women." Ramirez is obsessed with women.
Yes.
And just the fact that he is incredibly competent. I mean, he's probably one of the stronger wardens we've seen, and one of the more skilled. Well, no, in terms of actual strength, he's not that strong. I'm fairly sure.
He's strong by the standards of people his age, but by
Yeah.
the standards of the White Council, he's pretty middling.
I'm also fairly sure it is certainly hinted at. I'm not sure if it's ever actually confirmed that in Summer Night there is one particular apprentice who is singled out for laughing at Harry and his terrible Latin.
That'd probably be Carlos.
And I'm
honestly.
fairly sure it was hinted at that being Carlos. He also
That would not be a surprise.
He also uses the exact same line as Harry when describing the Merlin, because when Harry first hears about the Merlin's ward, he says, "I guess you don't become the Merlin of the White Council by collecting bottle caps." And then Carlos repeats it, like word for word.
It's great.
Mm-hmm. No, Ramirez is great, and I always look forward to getting him in books.
Same.
He is also... So this is going into sort of warden logistics and power structure. So there are regional commanders for areas. And previously, Morgan was the regional commander for... I believe it would be the Midwest. That's where Chicago is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Midwest. Yep. Right up until Harry gets drafted and says, "Hey, I'll do this, but I don't want Morgan anywhere near me because he's been a dick to me so very often."
So they're like, "Okay, you can be Warden of Chicago and the Greater Midwest."
Yeah, you can be the regional commander of the Midwest. Oh, hey, you know who else is a regional commander on the West Coast? Ramirez. Because we have nobody else.
Yep.
That's another interesting thing in this book. We get sort of certainly another. Not necessarily the first, because we had Listens to Wind and Martha Liberty, and to an extent Ebenezer, but another reasonable authority figure within the White Council in Lucio.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because Lucio is like pissed when she finds out about Morgan's behavior.
Yep. She's also very understanding about Harry killing her old body.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit mad about that, I think. But he didn't have much of a choice in that,
Not really.
in his defense.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, Lucio thought she was going to die. Like, she actually says, "Hey, I aimed too well. This body is dying." But thankfully, Butters was on hand, and for all of his complaining that he's a medical examiner, not a doctor, he's still pretty good at that medicine stuff.
He plays a very
Jim.
good black market doctor.
Yeah. So many black market surgeries by Butters.
Well, it's not his fault that Harry's terrible about not getting injured.
I mean, that and the fact that Butters knows he can't go to the hospital. Oh yeah, life is a journey, time is a river, the door is ajar.
Yep.
So the blue beetle gets taken out very early in the book, and for most of it, Harry has to use Billy and George's SUV. And suffice to say, that is not from, like, 1950s, 1960s, and so does not stand up to a wizard's Murphy effect very well. So, so it the little voice in the car keeps going. The door is ajar, and it gets very zen after a while, apparently, which is quite nice. Yeah, I literally can't think of anything else. I do love this book though. It is so
It's
good.
a very good. It's very good. But yeah, no, we've got to about 2 hours, so I think we're good to end it here.
Yeah, I've been sort of rambling for the last 10 minutes, so we should probably end it.
Yeah, for future streams, tomorrow will be yet another session of D&D where we make our way over to Black Rain.
Is that going to
And,
start at 9 a.m. Pacific time,
Probably.
or are we doing 10?
Not sure. Gen hasn't said
we don't
yet.
know. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, after that Tuesday will hopefully be more Mass Effect.
We will actually get to Vermeer. We have landed on Vermeer. I know we said we were going to do Vermeer last stream, but we didn't realise that Vermeer is actually the point of no return for some quests.
But yeah, after that, probably more Psychonauts on Thursday, and then next Saturday we'll be wrapping up our thoughts on the summer 2021 anime season.
So that will be, as I said, wrapping up all the anime we are still watching and our awards. So we have added 2 extra categories. We have added Best Ship and Best Animation. So that will take even longer, and I will have to set that up, set both of those up at some point this week.
Yep. Yeah.
But I just like to say that even with probably about half a dozen shows for me to finish, I found my anime of the season, and I'm not changing my mind.
I think I am in agreement with you as to which it is.
It's been a dry season, so it's not that surprising.
Yeah. Our runners up are probably the same as well.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Makes things
anyway.
easier on me. I only have to get 1 picture or 2 pictures. Like, makes things so much easier for me. So I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you all for watching. See you tomorrow, and have a good night.
Good night.